Hey everybody, we're going to keep working on trying to solve these multi-step problems. I know they've been really challenging, but I appreciate you guys doing your best. We're going to work on more problems. A lot of the problems that you're going to see are going to be a lot harder than the ones on the quiz. I'm just kind of giving you a heads up. So if you can handle what's in here, you'll be doing just fine on the quiz. Again, as we're working, it's okay to get them wrong, but it's not okay not to try. So just make sure you're doing your best, trying to follow along, and think of different ways to solve them. If I solve it a different way than you would have, but we came to the same answer, it's okay to take a different route and get to the same destination. But we want to make sure that you're doing the best that you can so we can solve these multi-step word problems. So here's the first one that I want to start with. Sam puts 19 red apples and 21 green apples into bags. He puts 8 apples in each bag. He's going to deliver apples, give them out, be a nice guy. Maybe he's going to make like some caramel apples. That'd be great. Who knows? Write and solve the equation to find how many bags of apples Sam has. Okay, so that's what we want to look at right now, is solving this. So first thing first, what are we talking about in this case? Well, we're talking about apples. It's important to know that. It's important to figure out what we're talking about. And in this case, we're trying to figure out how many bags of apples Sam has. We can figure out how many apples. We want to know how many bags of apples he has. And then finally, what's important to it? Well, it's important to know there's 19 red, 21 green apples, and he's going to put them into bags of 8. So we've got 3 important numbers, no trickery there. 3 important questions. So let's think about the best way that we can solve this. Take some time, think about how you would go about it. All right. One thing we can do is kind of just break this down and estimate it first. So he's got about 20 apples. He's got about 20 apples, which means he's going to have 40 apples to put into bags of close to 8, maybe a hard one, so maybe 10, right? So if he's got 40 apples and he puts them into groups of 10, he's going to end up with about 4 bags. And that's just a rough estimate. This is just my estimate. It's going to be close to 4. Okay. And if I get something close to that, I'm probably right. So let's actually solve this. Okay, so he's going to start by getting a bunch of red apples. He's going to have 19 red apples. Then he's going to get a bunch of green apples. And he's going to have 21 of those. All right, so how many apples does he have? Hopefully, some of you guys can do 19 plus 21 in your head. If you can't, it's okay. We're going to solve it. 9 plus 1. 0 carry the 1. 1 plus 1 plus 2. 4. He actually does have 40. That was my estimate. But it works out to 40. So he's got 40 apples total. Okay. And if he's going to put them into groups of 8, okay, what I'm thinking about is the problem is really going to be what is 40 divided by 8. But we got to think about this like a fact family, right? So what number A times 8, so number of apples times, number of bags times 8 is going to give us 40. What number times 8 gives us 40? And in this case, hopefully a lot of you already know that it's going to be bags equals 5. Would be one way to do it. You could always skip count by 8, right? So we're going to have 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, which means here's 1 bag, 2 bags, 3 bags, 4 bags, 5 bags. So we end up with the number of bags is going to be 5, which is close to my estimate, which is great. Close to my estimate. But my answer is 5. I get there's a lot of writing on here. There's a lot of thinking. I could have drawn this out. I could have put out 40 dots, and I could have tried to circle them into groups of 8. That would have also worked, right? And that's not a bad method. If you want to do that, you could make an array, right? If you have 40 things, put them into groups of 5. There's nothing wrong with that. There's 8 apples, right? And I could have done this 5 times. And it would have worked out as well. It's up to you how you want to do it, right? Here's his 40 apples. Right? Total. And he's got them in bags of 8. So here's a bag, here's a bag, here's a bag, here's a bag, and here's a bag. And that would have worked. As long as you're thinking it through and showing it in some way, you'll be fine. The way we would want to write an equation for this would be to take the first thing that we're going to do is take our 19 red apples. We have to add it to our 21 green apples. Before we do anything, we need to do that. And then we'll divide that number by the number of bags, right? So once we get the total number of apples, we can divide them into 8 bags, or bags of 8, and then we will get our answer of how many bags. So here's our equation for this problem. 19 plus 21 divided by 8 equals B. Just a quick note, if I would have written this out wrong, so we would go 8 divided by 19 plus 21 equals B. That would not have worked out because you can't divide 40 things, right? If you have 8 things, try to put them into 40 groups, that's going to be a problem. So make sure you have your biggest number first, just like in subtraction. All right, I know that was tough. I know there's some big ones in here, but let's try to do a couple together. So let's start on this one. This is on page 203. So open your math journals to page 203. That would look like in E05 if you're looking at it upside down. So page 203 in your math journal. And let's give this one a shot and try to do this one together. Ms. Dennison packs up the books in her classroom for the summer. She's going to the beach. She's going to relax a little bit. She's got to take her books with her to the beach so she can read them over summer break. Each box holds 9 books. She has 24 math books and 27 science books to pack in boxes. There used to be 27 math books, but somebody stole 3 of them, so now there's only 24. It's very unfortunate for Miss Dennison. Write and solve the equation to find how many boxes Miss Dennison needs for the books. So let's break this one down. What is this problem about? Somebody shout something out. What is this about? Good. Somebody said books. And that's good. But really we're trying to figure out how many boxes we need. All right. So the real answer is we're trying to figure out the number of boxes she needs for the books. So the books are going to be related. But really we want to find out, it's really all about how many boxes we need to put these books in. So it's kind of both of those. What are we trying to find out? Well, we got to find out how many boxes she needs. How many boxes does she need? And then finally, what information is important? again, this is a great one. There's no tricky things. It doesn't talk about how old Miss Dennison is, or it doesn't tell us that she's driving there on the third day of summer. There's no tricky numbers in here. All the numbers in here are important to the problem. So that's good. We've got all the important numbers here. Okay, so she's got 24 math books, 27 science books. She's going to put them into boxes that hold 9 books. How many boxes does she need before she can head to the beach and take her books with her? Because why not? So let's think this out. Couple ways we could solve this. Take some time, do your best, try to work through this, try to figure out a way that you can, one, you need to write an equation, and two, figure out how many boxes she needs. So I'll give you a minute to kind of work through this. All right, good for those of you that tried. If you didn't get it, it's okay. Just make sure you're doing your best. And we'll go from there. Okay. So we're going to start with figuring out how many books she has. Right? It really doesn't matter whether they're math or science. We're going to put them into boxes anyway. It doesn't matter which one's which. So we want to figure out how many books she has. So we're going to start by just figuring out how many books she has. 24 plus 27. We're going to do that first. We got to figure out how many books she has, and then when she has this big stack of books, she's going to take those books and put them into groups of 9. And whenever we're talking about groups of something, where we're going to take a big number and put them into groups, that does mean we are going to divide. And this is going to tell us how many boxes she needs. Now, how many books? That B means boxes. I want to figure out how many boxes she needs. So, another way we can model this, if we wanted to show this, all right, is we could draw this out, right? We can figure this out. So there's going to be 24 and 27 boxes, right? So how many books does she, 24 and 27 books. So how many books does she have total? We can just solve this really quick. 24 plus 27. 4 plus 7. Think of your answer. 4 plus 7. 1, 2, 3. 1 plus 2 plus 2. Think of your answer. 1, 2, 3. 51 books. Some of you might have been able to look at this and say, oh, if I moved 1 from here, 27 to here, you'd have 25 plus 26. 25 plus 25 is 50. So if 25 plus 25 is 50, 25 plus 26 would be 51. Maybe you could have figured that one out. But there's 51 books. All right. And if I know there's 51 books, and we're putting them in boxes of 9, we can estimate this a little bit. Because there's 50 books, and we're going to put them into groups of 9. What if we put them into groups of 10 instead, just to make this a little bit easier? And 50 divided by 10, right? So 50 is equal to 10 times something. What's that something? Hopefully, no, it's 5, right? So 5. It's going to be about 5 boxes. That's my estimate. I think it's going to be around 5. Let's check it, see what we get. So we've got 51 books. We want to put them into groups of 9. And one way I could think about this is if I had 9 boxes. 9 books. That's 1 box, right? So let's just get my 9 in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's a box, right? Cool. Good things are happening. Well, now here's 2 boxes, right? Let's move this one over. 3 boxes. So how many do I have? Well, here's 9 books. Well, here'd be 18 books. 9, 18, 27 books. Okay, let's keep going here. How many books do I have now? 36, right? Okay, we're getting close to 51. So let's do another one. $36. Now I've got 45. Ooh, I'm getting really close. All right. And if I do that again, I have 54 books. All right. So here's 9 times 1, 9 times 2, 9 times 3, 9 times 4, 9 times 5, 9 times 6. Well, this is a problem. I don't need room for 54 books. I need room for 51 books. Uh-oh. What are we going to do? Oh, no. Not a big deal, right? It doesn't matter if the box is full. And so in this case, this box isn't going to be full. We're just going to erase some of these, right? So instead of having 54, I'm just going to take some off here. 53, 52, 51 books, right? Here's my 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. Now I've got 51 books. So how many boxes do I need? Think about it. Well, here's a box, 2 boxes, 3 boxes, 4 boxes, 5 full boxes. So the question again is, how many boxes does she need for the books? Think about it. Raise your hand if you think she needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. Raise your hand if you think she needs 6 boxes. The answer is going to be 6 boxes. Okay? She needs 6 full boxes. Yes, this last one is not going to be full. That's okay. All right? How we say this is if we divide this out and solve this equation, what we end up saying is that there's going to be 5 boxes, 5, with a remainder of 6. That R means remainder. There's 6 left over. These 6 books are left over. We're not just going to chuck them in the trash, right? Miss Dennison's not going to be like, oh, can't fill the box, going to throw those out. We're going to keep those books. She needs to pack them up too. So if there's 5 full boxes and 6 books left over, we need 6 boxes to put all of these in. And so we use the term remainder. It's really important that we use this word, remainder. And usually we just write it as very simply an R, just a capital R, remainder. We call it a remainder. It's what's left over, right? It's not going to be even. We don't have, we've got this last box is going to be a little empty, and that's okay. That means we need 6 boxes to carry the books. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. This isn't the only way that we could have solved it. We could have also taken our 51 books that was split up. We could have skip counted it again. 9, 18, 27, 36. I'm a little out of proportion here. 45. And we would have figured out 54 is too far. That's okay. We know that there's 1 jump, 2 jumps, 3 jumps, 4 jumps, 5 jumps. And that 6th jump takes us too far. So it's going to be 5 full boxes with part of another. So however it works for you, if you want to draw it out, if you want to show skipping, it doesn't matter. We also could have just put out 51 dots all over the page. 51 things and started circling them in groups of 9, right? If I counted out 51 dots, which I don't, and just started circling them in groups of 9, I'd be okay. I would have got the same answer that way too. So just kind of think about it however you need to do it. Here's another example of that skip counting. They did it a little bit neater than I did, but they end up a little bit further. Here's our full boxes and then part of another, right? So our equation is going to be 24 plus 27 divided by 9. Once we get our total, we got to do the total first. Then we break it down into groups of 9. That'll give us, they went with X, I said B. Either one's fine. Another equation, and it talks about the remainder. The remainder is really important. And in this case, that remainder really factors in because we're not throwing those books out. We're going to make sure that we keep them. And so that remainder plays a big part in there. Sometimes we do actually get rid of the remainder. But in this case, we need to keep them, and we're going to put those books in a box. So again, just like I talked about, how many full boxes does she need? We talked about it. There's how many books are left over? There's 6 books left over. And so is another box needed? Well, yes. We're not throwing those away, right? We need another box. So she needs, so how many boxes does she need? She needs 6 boxes, right? So there's going to be 5 boxes with 8 in each one. And then we tack on those extra 6. We end up with 51 total books. Okay. And again, great if you can do a little estimate with it. So let's now turn in your math journals to page 206. This is page 206. Looks like a 905 if you're looking at it upside down. Candace, maybe Candace Flynn, running from Phineas and Ferb, who knows, shops for hiking gear. She picks out a $95 tent, a pair of boots for $54, and a $38 backpack. She has $200 to spend on gear. Write and solve the equation to find out if she has enough money for the hiking gear. Estimate to check that it's reasonable. Show your work. So, what are we talking about here? Talking about money. We are talking about money. We're talking about money. All right, that's what we're dealing with. Talking about how much money she has. In this case, it's hiking gear, but really that doesn't matter. It's more we're dealing with money. We are looking to find out if she has enough money for the stuff that she wants. That's what we want to know. Does she have enough money? It's a yes or no question. Does she have enough money? And what's the important information? Again, they helped us out. There's no tricky numbers in here, right? She's not driving down Highway 51 or anything like that. The numbers are all important. All right. I want to start this one with just a straight up estimate. Let's make this super simple. So if she wants to buy those 3 things, let's just start with making these easy. $95 is kind of a weird number, but it's really close to an easy number like 100. 54, kind of a tough number, but it's close to 50. 38. Let's just call it 40. All right, so she wants to buy something for $100, $50, and $40. How much money is she spending? So if this is my estimate, and the question is, she has $200 to spend, does she have enough money? Well, according to my estimate, yes, but it's close, right? It's going to be close. So that doesn't tell me a whole lot, but it looks like she's going to have enough money, but it's going to be close. But once I've estimated this, I kind of know what's going to happen. I added these up, and I compared it. So we're going to go, not 100, Mr. S. $95 plus $54 plus $38. And then we're going to subtract that number from 200, or we're going to compare it, see if it is less than 200, right? So let's take a look at this and see what we get. And this is going to equal a cost, or let's see, our hiking gear. We'll go with an H. So if we do add these up, 95, 54, 38, what do we get? 5 plus 4, think about your answer, it's 9, plus 8 more, 9 plus 8. Here we've got a set of 10, 1 and 9 is 10, plus 5 more, 15, 16, 17, 18. There we go. Does she have enough money? That's the question. Does she have enough money? Our answer? Yeah. Spend that money. Get that hiking gear. She's golden. As long as it doesn't get too much tax. She should probably factor that in. She's going to have to factor in tax. She might not be okay on tax. Depends on what state she's in. I want you guys to solve the rest of these on your own and do the best you can. But how much money is she going to get back? Well, she spent 187. So she spent 187. We're just going to subtract that from 200. But solve the rest of these on your own. Take a look at these, and I think you'll be okay. This one will be a little tricky, but take your time. And when you come back in from lunch, you guys are working on 207 and 208. Have a great day.